Yeah, the topic's jump scares. If you've ever watched any horror movie ever, then you're probably familiar with the jump scare. This moment of silence that builds up this cringe-inducing feeling that ends with a loud boom. Now, this topic won a poll I held over on our channel's community page, so head on over and vote for the next topic. I had a lot of other interesting choices. I'm really surprised that this one won out of thalassophobia, the Russian sleep experiment, and just fear of the dark or unknown. I'm not sure which one I chose for the last one. And fray not, as we'll delve into a plethora of jump scares in today's episode of Dark Dives. None of which will come from me. I'm a liar. So what exactly makes a good jump scare? Well, on paper it seems pretty simple, right? I mean, a moment of silence that slowly builds up the suspense, and then boom, you get the jump scare, the payoff right at the end. Let's kind of dive a little deeper and see what truly makes a jump scare good. And let's look no further than to the master of suspense himself, Alfred Hitchcock. There is no terror in the bang, only the anticipation of it. Which means the greatest strength of any jump scare isn't necessarily the bang, it's the anxiety and fear that it builds up before the payoff. Once that bang goes off, that's it. No going back now, you just showed off what the gun can do. Metaphorically, the gun can be threatening, but it's no longer scary. Does that make sense? We'll do another one. Another analogy could be the dark, a primal fear rooted deep within ourselves. What makes the dark so scary is the lack of confirmation we have for what's lurking in it. Our minds then try to fill in the blank. There could be a bear, a monster, or some kind of slasher villain lurking deep within the shadows. But once the lights turn on and we finally see what it is that hides behind the dark, the anticipation is gone. You just revealed what it is. The jump scare can no longer work the same from that moment forward. Now we know, hey, this gun that I've been holding this entire time, that shit shoots. That shit is a threat. But now that I already showed you what it can do, it is no longer scary, if that makes sense. It's more of an anticipation to see what you're gonna do with it next. You have to build and earn that suspense to really get that payoff. Alright, I picked out a couple different variant examples. The first one is often discussed as being one of the greatest jump scares of all time. Go ahead and take a look. So good. Now, despite this movie being an absolute mess, this scene is amazing in a number of ways. No! Well, how does that shit even stay on? Ugh. Yeah, if you ever think about purchasing a Rode mic too, just make sure you actually don't lose the little black ball thing that goes on top of it. You don't lose the little muffler, the little pop filter right here, because this shit... Oh, never mind, it stays on. It just kept falling off. I'm wrong. Please sponsor me. Okay, so first off, the camera holds this position in this wide shot for a while. Wide shots are often used to help bring unease to the audience. It lets us know that something has to be out there lurking and watching our main character. You don't just shoot a shot like this without wanting someone or something to eventually reveal itself or be there in the background. I mean, look at all that space. The ghost man could literally pop out from any area, and that's what makes it so terrifying. The tension is built up for a couple minutes, and then we get our payoff with an absolutely horrifying zoom in sound. Let me know if this jump scare got you. Obviously, when you watch it with context and me already warning you that there's gonna be a jump scare, it's gonna have less of an effect on you. But I mean, you kind of know when a scene's building up to a little scare like that. Next up, we have that scene from It Follows. And no, I'm not talking about the hallway scene with the mom. Watch It Follows though, it's a really good movie.
Mom, is that you?
No, it's me.
Yara?
Yeah.
Don't open the door.
See? Everything's okay.
Now, this isn't necessarily your textbook jump scare, nor is it a cheap one, and we'll get to those. It's just without a doubt one of the best jump scares, if not one of the best scares I've seen in a modern horror movie. And don't just take my word for it. I mean, hell, look at all the comments. But what specifically makes this scare work? What makes this jump scare so horrifying, so cringe-inducing, so terrifying? I'm running out of adjectives in this video if you could not tell.
I call it breadcrumbs. You get some type of indication that something scary may be likely to happen.
All right, Dom post editing right now. So my body decided to become sick out of nowhere, so just go ahead and tolerate the voice just for this quick segment right here. Thank you. We get someone knocking at the door. As the audience, we know this could be the monster, since the creature can take shape of anyone it pleases, thus making us scared for the other characters in the scene as they have no idea that this thing could even do that, let alone it being a real threat.
Don't open the door.
And then, fake out?
See? Everything's okay.
The fake out scare here helps enhance the terror of the actual scare, by giving us that short sigh of relief thinking that the monster isn't actually there anymore. Then boom! He pops up through the shadows, not followed by a bang, but a distorted soundtrack that helps give off this perilous feeling of unease.
Now, despite the numerous examples of fantastic jump scares I could keep showing you, why is it that they often get a bad rep? Well, in my humble half-breed opinion, I believe it just comes down to oversaturation. Jump scares are really easy to do. For example, who remembers this ad? The perfect example of a cheap ass jump scare. It's literally just thrown in there to startle you or to make sure your attention span hasn't left yet. So why are these often considered cheap while the others are usually praised? Well, for one, it's a completely different media. When you play a video game, it's you yourself that is the main character in this terrifying situation. Not an actor. There's not a script there unless it's like a QuickTime event or something, you know, or a cutscene. You are the one making your choices in that video game. So when you run into a scare or die or get jump scared, it feels more earned in that sense. So let's start off with Slender Man. The Slender Man scare does have build up to it. And a decently chilling bang. I mean, this shit's iconic at this point. The game is just a product of its time, which is something I always take into consideration when discussing any type of media, especially horror in general, because horror is something that changes throughout every decade. It changes every single year. You look at a horror movie from the 1930s, such as Frankenstein, The Wolfman, any of the Universal monster movies, hell, even King Kong. They are not going to come anywhere close to what we consider scary now as a whole in society.
Help, young lady.
Oh, please. Shut up. Let them kill me.
No mind. You like this, Dave?
Where's the rest of your team?
This way. Over here. They're still alive, but they need help right now.
Okay, ma'am, lead the way. We'll follow you.
Whoa, guys, hold up.
What?
What the fuck you mean, hold up? They need our help.
Something's not right about this. Ma'am, what's your name?
Grace. Grace Williams.
Miller?
What?
She's not moving her mouth.
What?
Are you guys gonna help us out or not?
Holy shit, you're right.
What the fuck? How is that even possible?
Alright, everyone, stay calm. Hold your positions.
Holy shit!
Open fire!
It's the silence that creates the unnerving anxiety as you slowly move around this unknown location. You know there's a creature out there stalking you. you just don't know where it is. That is just textbook fear right there. Fear of the dark, fear of the unknown. Having that suspense build up as this creature lurks around you. And thus giving us, while a little dated, a pretty decent jump scare. Now it's not amazing, it's not the best, it kind of just comes up out of nowhere and it's very lacking in variety, but I still think it holds up. Slender Man is still one of the heavyweight champs of textbook jump scares. Now let's talk about this. There's no avoiding it. I mean, how in the hell could I have a video about jump scares and not talk about Five Nights at Freddy's? And hang on, no, I don't mean any disrespect to the franchise as a whole. I love the designs of the animatronics. They perfectly encapsulate that scary 70s aesthetic, Chuck E. Cheese looking demonic fuck. They have great music, the gameplay. That's where we run into the issue. The reason for why I believe it feels unearned is because the gameplay itself. It's very limiting. You're locked into one area. You can't move, only the threats can. On paper, this sounds brilliant. I mean, what a way to terrify the player, right? But this limits so much potential in the bang. You're not allowed to freely move around and rightfully earn that jump scare. You're glued to your seat, which just earns you an instant little... It's just stress-inducing more than scary. And I know there's definitely moments that you might bring up, which is when your power goes out and Freddy's little face just kind of pops up in the corner. And I think that works definitely more often than not than when you're just on the tablet and then out of nowhere you just get an instant jump scare. There's no build up towards that. It's more stress. It's more of a stress simulator than it is with actual terror itself. But yet again, that comes down to a little thing we call opinions. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if I'm full of shit. Also, go ahead and put down any suggestions you have for any other topic ideas, such as like cryptids, Mothman, the back rooms, the fear of the unknown, thalassophobia, anything your heart desires, go ahead and throw it down in the comments. I will check it out. And as always, have a good one. Dum 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 dum.